I didn't want to do this one. I really didn't. It should be pretty obvious why, but you guys just would not stop asking. So the Mississippi Queen is this disgusting drink that makes an appearance in Season 3 of Regular Show, which is an animated comedy starring a blue jay, a raccoon, and a gumball machine. The good news is I actually found a way to turn this into a really nice drink, so first let's kick it off by watching the original.
You think you're so hot? How about a victory drink? I call it the Mississippi Queen.
Alright, we got a pretty good sense of exactly what goes into this drink, so let's grab ourselves a large pot and get going. So the base liquid in this beast of a drink is going to be pasta sauce and mayo. That's pretty straightforward. And we're actually going to blend all this together with a hot pepper. Now we don't actually see a pepper going in, but we know that there is some heat in this drink because at the end they have a little hallucination. So to fill up that vessel, we're probably going to need 2 blenders worth of base liquid here. So we're going to add 2 jars of pasta sauce with 1/2 jar of this mayo. Yeesh. Next, drop in the jalapeno. Blend that together, and that's going to form our base for this drink. And as you can see, it kind of looks like a Russian dressing. Dump it into a serving bowl, and then repeat the process to fill it to the top. Another one of the random ingredients thrown in is soy sauce. Just dump in a bunch of soy sauce. He then dumps in a bunch of stuff from a bottle labeled Chuco, which is clearly chocolate sauce. Alright, so far this hasn't been so bad. With all the liquid ingredients in, let's just give this a quick stir. Now here's where things really start to go off the rails, and we introduce a bunch of wonderful smelling ingredients, starting with kimchi. Now kimchi is a pickled and fermented cabbage. It's actually quite tasty in the right context. We're just gonna fork a bunch on top here. Next up, there was a bag of clamshells just thrown in because why not? So we'll just sprinkle 7 or 8 of these on top. And then there was a plate of what was clearly leftover sushi and some shrimp. And so here we've got some nicely cooked shrimp and some high quality sashimi. Not pictured in this clip is me throwing up in my mouth a little bit as I do this. But I knew what I was signing up for with this one. So let's just finish this with the nice cocktail umbrella that he garnishes it with. But this is what's going through my mind right now.
Bottoms up. What the? Oh.
My camera does not have the technology to detect those stink lines, but they are there, trust me. But let's give it a taste, shall we? Here's me desperately trying not to breathe in my nose as I take a sip, and I kinda had the same reaction as Mordecai.
That actually wasn't that bad.
You're mostly just drinking that base liquid, which doesn't have too much offensive stuff in it. Yeah, it's not terrible. But I got an idea on how to improve this. But first, we need to cleanse the palate a bit, and what better way to do that than with some coffee? And I'm genuinely excited to be partnered up again with Trade Coffee for this video. These guys send delicious, roasted-to-order coffee from over 50 award-winning roasters. So I started by taking this quick 30-second quiz about what kind of coffee I like, what technique I like. I typically do the traditional pour-over method, and I use whole ground beans, and often add a little bit of milk and cream, and it matched me up with this coffee that was amazing. It was rich and bold flavored, but also kind of tangy and sweet. Even though I know the kind of style of coffee I like, I love how Trade always sends me new coffees to try that I never would have gotten a chance to try before, and it's always really, really tasty. If you guys are looking to try this out, as part of this partnership, Trade is going to give the first 100 people who click the link below 30% off your first coffee. Just click the link in the description and use my code COCKTAIL3. And if you've got a favorite coffee cocktail, let me know. Alright, so can we make a version of this that's actually drinkable? We're going to take inspiration from a drink called a Caesar, which is Canada's answer to our Bloody Mary, and it's made with clamato, which is basically tomato juice with some spices and dried clam broth. So this is going to give us the fish element of our improved Mississippi Queen. Now, Caesars and Bloody Marys often have some kind of savory garnish, and here we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone by combining shrimp and mayonnaise to make something really tasty to place on top of the drink. Alright, so let's prepare the garnish first. We're going to shell and devein some shrimp, add a little bit of salt and some cayenne pepper. Next, we need to coat these things in mayonnaise before we cook them. Now, I know the idea of cooking mayo might sound a little gross, but actually this is a very common technique with shrimp. Alright, once we've got these battered up, we're going to place them on a frying pan with oil and cook them for about 90 seconds on each side. And here we've got our garnish, and we've ticked the box for the mayo and shrimp. Next up, we're just going to do a pretty standard Bloody Mary Caesar technique here and just rim the glass with some lime juice and celery salt. I try to only rim the outside of the glass so that the salt doesn't mix in with the drink when you fill it up. Alright, let's start building the drink. So grab a Collins glass and pour in some chilled Clamato. We're going for about 6 ounces or 180 mils. To represent our pickled kimchi, we're going to add half an ounce or about 15 mils of pickle brine, which is going to add a really nice savory flavor. To replicate the chocolate sauce, we're going to do a couple dashes of chocolate bitters. Just going to keep this one pretty subtle. And guys, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this to you, but Worcestershire sauce? Worcestershire? Anyway, we're going for about 4 dashes of this in place of the soy sauce. Next, we need our hallucinogenic heat. In this case, I'm just going to use some hot sauce from one of my favorite brands, Scorpion, and we're just going for about a teaspoon or so. Now, I suppose we should actually make this one a little boozy, so we're going to do 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of vodka. Throw a couple cubes of ice in there, give that a little stir. Garnish with our shrimp and an optional lime wedge. I like to squeeze a little lime juice in there. But let's see how we did, shall we? The improved Mississippi Queen. Cheers. Okay, this is excellent. It's pretty close to your classic Caesar. The Clamato juice actually works really well here, and it's nice and savory, a little salty. This honestly would be a great hangover cure, and that shrimp is damn tasty. I think Benson would approve. Thanks for watching, guys, and again, thank you to Trade Coffee for partnering with me on this video. As a reminder, they're giving the first 100 people who click the link below 30% off your first coffee. Just click the link in the description and use my code COCKTAIL3.